update on what's going to happen for us. How do you see it playing out tonight?
Yeah, Mike, we could be seeing some storms lighting up here right across the New Mexico and Texas border. There's that low pressure that's spinning over the Four Corners region right now. You can see some snow coming in to portions of Colorado. But right here, right where that dry air descending off the mountains is meeting up with that moisture over the western part of Texas, that's where we're seeing the storm start to light up here as we've got enough lift and instability here to support some potentially stronger thunderstorms. So right now, a lot of those storms are moving across I-40 here on the way towards Amarillo. Lots of lightning associated with this, but because of that instability we have in the atmosphere, that lift that we got in the upper levels, we could be seeing some pretty big hail tonight in some of these areas. Radar estimates right now in and along I-40, potentially up to the 2-inch range. So keep an eye out for that. That is certainly enough to cause some damage. And this will persist as that low slides off to the east here throughout the night tonight. So right now we've got a pretty limited threat for Friday. It's mostly across this western portion of Texas into the Panhandle. Lubbock, you're right on the border. This goes all the way up into the northern and central part of New Mexico, but damaging winds a big threat with that shear that we've got coming in with that system, as well as potentially some hail with all that instability as well. So keep an eye out for that. We've got a very strong dry line that's in place, and that's going to be the focus for that activity. Look, it's a limited moisture stream, but look at this contrast, right? 8 is the dew point in Roswell, New Mexico, 45 in Lubbock. I mean, that's a pretty big transition, and it's those boundaries that the atmosphere always likes to force storms off of. So watch as we go through the night tonight. That dry line slides off to the east. We start to get even more moisture swinging up here from the Gulf of Mexico. And Mike, that's going to be the focus even heading into tomorrow, which could initiate some storms.
Yeah, one thing you mentioned there was hail is something that we're on the lookout for this evening. That's for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Unfortunately, that scene will change quite a bit in the Dallas area as that low pressure comes out of the Rockies here. This is our area that we're watching for some possible thunderstorms, places like Austin, Dallas, of course, and east towards Lake Charles. We could be seeing anything from hail, damaging wind, and maybe a few tornadoes tomorrow with the strong shear that low pressure is going to be bringing into the region. So now here's a look at that setup. We've got a cold front that's going to be trailing. That's going to be one of our factors we're going to watch really closely for, because how fast that cold front moves may actually shut down this activity heading into the day tomorrow. But we've got the warm air, we've got the moisture return a little bit more than what we're seeing today, especially in areas along the Gulf, because we've got that proximity to the Gulf of Mexico, right? This warm front is going to be where the action is going to be, right in and around it, and as well as right in and around this low. This is the area that we call the triple point. But because of all that moisture coming in off the Gulf of Mexico, that's also going to increase the clouds in this area. And those clouds can also limit the amount of surface heating we get. So that actually may hold us back as well from some of this stronger activity. But if we get past all of this, especially in a place like Dallas, there is the potential to see some stronger storms tomorrow because of the ingredients that are in play. So we can go ahead and take a look at that in more detail for a place like Dallas tomorrow evening, because with that low pressure coming in, we're going to see a lot of shear come into the region. And so far this year, that shear has been pretty important in terms of our severe weather. So two things that I want to point out here with this. We've got speed shear. That is a change in wind speed with height. Look at down here, 10 miles per hour. But then as we go up, you see how those numbers jump up into the high 30s, even the 40s as we get towards 8,000 feet. That can really help to get things turning in the atmosphere. But we also have the directional shear. Notice how I whip this around, how those numbers start to spiral in a circle, right? We've got that flow in the atmosphere that spins, that also helps to create that rotation in the atmosphere. So speed and directional shear. So if we can tap into these ingredients, that could be really important in terms of our severe weather and can really help storms get going around the Dallas area. Now, in terms of instability, notice we've got these big numbers all the way up here. See how these bars get much higher, above 5,000 feet? That instability is lofted up in the atmosphere. So down at the surface, things may be lacking a little bit, but up here, if we can tap into this instability, this could lead to some pretty large hail in some of these areas that get those stronger storms. So now, in terms of the moisture here, we're pretty moist down at the low levels because of that moisture coming in off the Gulf of Mexico. Look at that, 92% relative humidity. That is a gross, muggy day for many in the Dallas area. But we've got that dry air up above in the atmosphere, that big contrast, which also helps to get things rolling in terms of severe weather. So Dallas, things not looking too great for you tomorrow, as that potential does exist. Again, it's all depending on how much cloud cover we get tomorrow in some of these areas. areas, because those clouds here, you can see them streaming in off the Gulf, can really hold us back because we don't get that surface-based instability. So there's that line of storms coming through the northern part of Oklahoma and Texas, and you can see here a front tries to light up. You can see those line of storms trying to go. Some stronger storms here moving into the eastern part of Oklahoma, and you can see it there coming into the Dallas area by tomorrow evening, right around 4 or 5 p.m. But if that cold front moves in pretty quickly, it's actually going to shut things down, because you see here we've got the moisture and instability in the warm front, but then that cold front could take over and push everything out and shut down the best moisture and instability that we have as that cold air and dry air sweeps in. So right here, model still showing some stronger storms coming into Shreveport, Dallas, maybe even Houston in the early morning hours. So we do have that potential for hail, damaging winds. We can't rule out the potential for a tornado, and also lots of heavy rain coming into some of these places that have seen quite a bit, especially in Arkansas tomorrow. So Mike here, this could be bad news for some. Hopefully we get that cloud cover that really limits things tomorrow in terms of the severe.
Thing that we noticed about the storms that you're showing, flags that are whipping there, obviously it's a big issue for us for sure. All right, so Dr. Navarro is with us now. Winds are a factor outside of a notch.
Yeah, definitely. Those strong gusty winds on top of what we've been seeing. We don't need any more wind in this area. It's been too much, but we've got strong winds and hail potentially with the system that's moving in. You can see here that dry line really starting to light up here. Look at this orange color here showing you the dry air. Mike, it's lighting up right as it reaches that moist air that's coming in from Texas.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So let's talk about tonight, because that line is one that you're really focused on.
Yeah.
You know, places say in and around Clovis could be an issue, and I-40 is going to be a problem too.
Yes, strong storms probably going to be moving east on I-40 here on the way towards Amarillo throughout the night. Hail is going to be a big issue with some of these big storms. They're showing a lot of life with lots of lightning activity, but we've got enough instability in the atmosphere that we could be seeing in excess of an inch of hail. We could be getting up to 1.5 inches, 2-inch range in some of these stronger storms.
That's enough to cause some damage.
Yeah, right. Yes, it's going to have to be here, and we do have a strong dry line in place to support that. We've got a big contrast, almost 40 degrees in dew point here from Roswell off to Lubbock, and that's going to slowly shift its way off to the east, and we might even get some more moistening on the eastern side of that. That dry air does wrap around, and we see that that big contrast really die down, but that's still going to be strong enough to produce some activity.
As this goes through the night, do you still feel there's that wind or hail opportunity even in the middle of the night?
Sure. I think we still could be seeing some storms lighting up here along the panhandle of Texas as that front slides off to the east. So maybe don't really put your guard down on that threat tonight.
Nice to see at least some rain coming in. These are areas